In previous force-on-force videos, we showed that standing your ground means trading bullets and the need to get off the X. The idea is to move in such a way as to continuously try to flank your adversary. You start by moving at a 45-degree angle towards them, then continue circling. Flanking movement forces the largest angular shift in your adversary's arm. This slows down their sight acquisition and gives you a slight time advantage. There is another aspect of flanking called enfilade. This is when a flanking movement orients you to a group of people so that they are in a line in front of you, one behind the other. This makes it more difficult for the flanked group to safely return fire, as they may shoot their own people. It also makes it easier for you to shoot them, as they're all bunched up in the same line of fire. So we want to flank our adversary. If we do, and there are multiple adversaries, we get the added benefit of enfilading them. On the other hand, we don't want to be flanked or enfiladed. It looks romantic to put your wife and child behind you in a threatening situation, and if your adversary has a knife or club or just their bare hands, then yes, that's correct. But if your adversary has a firearm, your body may not stop the bullets, and now you, your wife, and child are all lined up for your adversary. You have the gun. You are the threat that will shoot them. You are what the adversary will focus on and shoot at. Move away from your family, not in front of them. Preferably, your family members know that in such a situation, they should move either away from you or directly to the ground. Which brings us to the focus of this video. How do we move with companions in a gunfight if they are not armed and can't help us? Let's say your wife and/or child is with you. In this situation against a single adversary, there are 5 basic orientations you can find yourself in. Let's go through them. In the first and worst situation, your companions are both on your right and left side. If you are approached with lethal force, either way you go, right or left, you will drag the line of fire into someone you are protecting. The solution for this is simple. Never be flanked by people you have to protect. Always be on one side or the other. So now the question is, which side should you be on? Before we get to the remaining scenarios, let's talk a moment about arm alignment and leg movement. We're going to assume that you're going to be shooting with one hand on the gun, because shooting with 2 hands on the gun makes it very difficult to move quickly. So with one hand on the gun at 12 o'clock, right in front of me, this is comfortable. And I can turn my gun out to about 4 o'clock without moving my torso or my hips, and it's still comfortable. Coming back to 12, I can go out to about 10. Past 10, either the elbow is going to bend, or again, it's uncomfortable, or I have to turn. So in terms of what is ergonomically correct, what moves naturally and easily, you have twice as much movement from 12 to 4 as you do going from 12 to 10. So it's optimal to move in such a way that your target is going to be on your gun side. That gives you the most amount of range to turn. If your target goes to your non-gun side, then you're either going to have to turn and go backwards or go sideways, or your arm is going to be cranked over, or your elbow is going to bend. This is one of the reasons why we always want to be flanking our opponent, moving to our non-gun side. It gives us the most range of comfortable movement with our shooting arm. Okay, now let's go to our second scenario. In this orientation, your companion is on your non-dominant side. Assuming you're a right-handed shooter, if you try to flank to the left, which is best for movement and arm alignment, you will drag the line of fire directly into your companion. The only other option is for you to flank to your gun side, but this means poor arm alignment and moving either sideways or backwards. Alternately, if your adversary moves to your gun side, if you move to the right to avoid enfilading your companion, now in addition to poor arm alignment and moving sideways or backwards, you are also moving parallel to your adversary. This makes you an easier target, as there is very little relative motion between you and your adversary when you both move parallel together. How do we handle these situations? When traveling, keep your companions on your gun side. All right, now your companion is on your gun side. Great, but what happens if your adversary initiates movement to your non-dominant side? In this case, you cannot go to your gun side without dragging fire to your companion, so you must move parallel with your adversary. This is good in the sense that your arm alignment is proper and you are moving with your legs forward, but again, you're moving parallel with your adversary. You're back to trading bullets. In the last orientation, you have your companion on your gun side. You move away from your companion towards your non-gun side and flank your adversary who moves to your gun side. You have good alignment with your arm, hand, and a forward direction of travel. You're not running backwards or sideways, and you aren't running parallel to your adversary. This is the best scenario. You want your companion on your gun side and your adversary moving to your gun side. We cannot control our adversary's movement. However, if we initiate movement to our non-gun side, odds are that our adversary will move to our gun side. It is unlikely for an adversary at close distances to want to move towards a gun. It's instinctual to move away from someone shooting at you. Having people with us that rely on our protection complicates matters. So remember, keep anyone you have to protect on your gun side, and if an adversary presents a firearm, move first and initiate flanking movement to your non-gun side.